Okay, it's 101, so we're going to get underway. I want to welcome you all. I hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving celebration wherever you spent that time. Um, I'm very grateful today because I had a very nice, large family celebration with about 40 people. And Saturday afternoon, I started coming down with very bad case of the flu, which knocked me off my feet Saturday night, Sunday, Monday, and yes, until yesterday afternoon. So today's really the first day that my first full day back in the office, and I'm very grateful to be with you all today to talk about icy and winter weather hazards that home care and hospice folks need to consider. So, um, so today we're going to talk about those weather hazards for winter. Next week we'll be doing a tutorial on the at-risk registry, and these are some of the some of the issues that we will be covering over the next 20 weeks. 20 weeks until we begin our hurricane season for 2024. I want to remind everyone, if you know of anyone who wants to participate in these calls, they have to sign up for this session, this post-hurricane session, if they want to participate in the next 20 weeks. And that is the link. I also want to remind everyone that next Wednesday, I guess it isn't, or yeah, next Wednesday, the Mississippi Healthcare Coalition will be doing a in-person training on workplace violence at the Mississippi Hospital Association building in Madison, Mississippi. So anyone who is interested in attending, um, there is a link here. I will put this in next week's calendar invite immediately following today's session. And you just have to click on where it says for more information and register, click here. So if you just click on that link in the PDF, you'll be able to register for next week's session on workplace violence. Um, these are some of the things that we're tracking. These are links that may be useful to you in your tracking. And I want to remind everyone, especially after my experience over the past 3.5 days, that uh, fall flu, COVID, and RSV season are in full swing. And I just heard a report in on the news that Louisiana is leading the country in terms of flu and COVID hospitalizations right now. So um, that is going to be a concern this coming winter for many of us, and you may need to start thinking in terms of your staff and patient safety concerns, your staffing concerns when people go down. And from what I experienced, I was down for 3.5 days. Um, so we need to take this very serious. These are contacts for the different regions in Louisiana. Your contact, I suggest that folks in Louisiana make a call to find out when the coalition meetings are happening, the next coalition meetings in your region. And then this would be the Mississippi version of that same chart and contacts. Teresa Jones is the person who handles the Mississippi ESF8 Healthcare Coalition meetings. So you may want to contact her with regards to your particular region of the state and when those meetings are going to be held. Today's topic is ice and winter weather hazards in Louisiana and Mississippi for health, home care and hospice providers. And I really want to thank Lisa Powell. These are the folks who helped to get today's program together. Either they will either be on today's call contributing, or they've contributed material that we'll be sharing during today's session. Lisa Powers is up at Sanctuary Hospice in Tupelo, Mississippi. Dominic Matoya is with the Hospice of Natchitoches up in North Louisiana. Mr. Roger McConnell is with Washita Parish Office of Homeland Security Emergency Preparedness Director, Teresa Jones with the Mississippi Hospital Association, and MEHEC. We also have Michael Hill, who is with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Thank you, sir. And Heath Williams, who is with the Mississippi State Department of Health. All have been working with me to create this week's session on winter weather hazards that we need to consider. Someone just sent me this, and this is really important. It's official. It's officially winter in South Louisiana when the gumbo pot lights up on your car dashboard. Um, so we need to take note of that. That winter is here. It's gumbo season. Um, Lisa Powers with Sanctuary Hospice was kind enough to share with us their actual policy for winter storms. Lisa, are you on the call right now?
Yes, I'm here.
Lisa, thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your sanctuary's policy. Do you want to give us a little context and um, um, talk about the policy that you all have in place?
Yeah, I can give you a little overview. Um,
Thank you.
when um, when we see winter weather is coming about, I watch the weather pretty visual. In any type of weather, we have we have a facility and we have people that are on the road. So when I say that weather is coming in, I constantly watch, keep people updated on it. If we're going to have some winter weather that's going to make the roads impassable, then we start getting our staff prepared to make sure we have people to cover, especially in our IPU unit, because we have to have staff there. Um, and so our policy says that if their rotation is on, then they have to be prepared to stay overnight or 24 hours period if they need to, or it's up to them to make sure they can get back and forth. We have a two buildings over there that we have a home office, and we prepare the home office for people to stay overnight. We have uh, mattresses, those blow up mattresses. We make sure we go to the store and make sure there's plenty of food there for them. We in our inpatient facility we have rooms that have showers in them, where they can change. The staff just needs to make sure they're prepared to bring their belongings with them, change of clothes and stuff, so they can stay overnight. Um, and we've had people stay up to 5 days before. Um, so it's worked out pretty well for us, to make sure that our patients are covered.
And so your policy, this is primarily a policy that is designed with your inpatient unit in mind.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any policies regarding winter weather and your outpatient um, staff members? Anything in particular
Yeah.
any particular cautions for them?
Yeah. At the same time, we're trying to make sure that prior to the weather arriving, that all our patients have what they need, to get them through. If we see somebody is declining and we can take them to our inpatient unit, we do that. Um, but we make,
Lisa,
uh,
something's happened with your connection. Do you want to, you may need to sign off and sign back in.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's still, there's something going on with your connection.
Okay.
It's vibrating for some reason. Well, while she's signing off, Dominic, Dominic Matoya, are you with us today? Dominic, can you hear me? Dominic is with Hospice of Natchitoches, and I had asked him to also talk with us a little bit about their policies.
Can you hear
Uh,
me now?
it's still you're still staticky for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Let's try it again.
Okay.
No, there's still you can hear. Oh, Iris says she can hear you clearly, so it must be on my end. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. And
That's okay. For our home patients, we try to make sure that they're took care of as far as food supplies. If anybody needs anything, then we go shop for them.
okay.
And, and then we have people lined up with four-wheel drives in case our nurses do have to make a visit during, after the weathers come in. We have a couple of portable generators we take out if we need to make sure everybody's medicine is up to date, their supplies fine.
Okay. Thank you. In terms of your staff safety on the road, do you have any advice for folks to think of in terms of just being on the road? Teresa Jones with Mayheck reminded me. She was talking with um, Mr. Heath Williams uh, back. I guess it was a year or 2 years ago, where there was this freak storm, if you remember, in Atlanta, and closed down the entire interstate, and people were stranded on the interstate for well for several hours. Is Mr. Williams on today's call? Mr. Michael Hill? And I
Yes,
was
I'm
just
here. Michael Hill's here.
Mr. Hill, thank you. You want to remind everybody what happened in Atlanta, and we have such extreme weather, it seems like, going on right now. I'm just a little concerned that some of that extreme weather may find its way even further south than just Atlanta.
Well, I mean, we have had several instances of cold outbreaks over the last couple years. I know we had one in 2021 where we had about half an inch of ice across central Mississippi, um, and that has happened. So for that Atlanta event, so what happened with that event was you had a winter storm go through the South, and that same winter storm impacted Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, and in Georgia. Atlanta got the lion's share of the coverage, but that was a widespread event for a lot of the South. So it wasn't necessarily a freak storm. It was one of those things that um, people were not prepared for for it. Uh, and the thing about that particular storm is nobody was predicting a whole bunch of snow or anything like that. And it turned out that the conditions, the way it's set up, that very little precipitation caused major, major, major issues as far as icing is concerned, where people weren't ready for the ice, people were still out, and there was not enough wherewithal about what was going to happen. So the road conditions and stuff within on the south in the south are tricky because we can have 60-degree temperatures one day, and later on that night we'll have snow, and it depends on how much the roads can cool down, or if the roads are already cold, then you got a more likelihood of some for it to stick. If it's not cold, then they'll melt first, then it'll ice up. So I believe when that situation, that they already had cold air in and the roads were already cold. So once it started to snow or sleet, it just stuck. And everybody was used to saying having a little bit of time for it to melt because the roads are normally warm, and that didn't happen that time. And so that's the part about traveling in snow and ice is some of the you got to know some of the front end business, what's going to happen. Are the roads already cold? Is it already cold? If it's not, then you got some time where it'll melt a little bit, where you can move around. But if it's already really cold for a couple days and those roads have already been, chilled down to near freezing, and then we get some snow or some ice or rain on top of it, then we have an issue.
Yeah.
And then the temperature afterwards. If we do get some ice, and how cold is it going to be after the snow and ice happens? And that will continue to keep the ice and snow around. It'll freeze and refreeze. So you might have a long duration type of an event.
Right, right. And I think you were helpful in putting together some of these thoughts around vehicle preparation and personal preparation and cold weather kits for your
I have a
vehicle.
few slides. Do you mind if I show them?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, cool.
I'll stop sharing and allow you to share your
Okay.
slides. Is anyone else having problems with the audio, or is it just me?
I think it's you, Jamie, because I'm having trouble hearing you. Your sound is kind of going in and out, and I can hear everybody else pretty good.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sign out and then I'll come back in.
So, want me to go ahead, or I can wait for you?
Yeah, go ahead, go right ahead.
Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we
can
can.
see it.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So, when they reached out to me, I put together a few slides. I actually have a long slide deck, but I'm not going to go through every single slide that I have. But I will talk about the preparedness part of it. So, preparing for winter storm, I like to say ready, set, go. Okay, so you want to be ready. Take the time to make plans to prepare your vehicle or your home, and continue to monitor the forecast for changes and maintain a state of readiness. And so, as the storm nears, you want to consider making changes to your travel or schedule. Even after the storm, make sure you need supplies. You have the needed supplies in your home or in your vehicle, and continue to monitor, prepare. And so, as the storm arrives, put your preparedness plans in action, reduce or avoid travel and monitor local weather sources. So if you guys have to get out into it, there's several things that we got to talk about. We want to take care, as far as as weather is concerned in the winter, we want to take care of people, pets, plants, and pipes. Make sure your people are protected. Check on your family, your elderly that might need help winterizing their homes. To be at home alone, having them nice winter blankets, make sure they're covered, have clothes in layers if need be, things of that nature. Make sure their homes are ready. Buy your supplies before the storm arrives, and so prepare your vehicle. I have several slides on vehicle safety. And again, I want you to monitor your forecast, stay up to date with the latest information from us at the National Weather Service or your favorite television meteorologist, and have a plan. If you guys know that things are going to be happening, make provisions to make sure you give yourself enough time to get to where you need to go. Make sure that you have a plan if you do get stranded. Make sure you can move your appointments if you need to stay out of the worst part of the weather. And again, we want you to know the terms. Winter storm watch means that there's significant potential of a significant winter weather event. Conditions are possible. We think that needs to be there for winter weather to occur. Winter weather advisory is the winter weather is imminent and may cause some inconveniences. Now, in the South, we get a lot of winter weather advisories, and they can cause some inconveniences. But the thing to note, right, with that storm in Atlanta that we were talking about, um, this is where the message got lost in the soup here. The Atlanta office had a winter weather advisory out. They didn't go significant, winter storm warning because they have certain criteria for winter storm warning, and that storm did not meet the criteria. However, they had a winter weather advisory, and a lot of people thought that advisory was less than a watch, and a watch is not necessarily so the way it works is you get a watch and then you either get an advisory or a warning, right? It's not like the advisory is less than a watch. You go to the watch and then they make the decision if they're going to have an advisory or a warning. And so again, people got confused and they had a winter weather advisory and they thought it wasn't going to be as bad. So everybody's like, oh, it's just going to be, a little snow. Wrong, wrong. It caused inconveniences, especially in Atlanta where you have that many people on the road. It only takes a little bit for it to be, pandemonium. Winter storm warning is significant winter storm is imminent and a danger to life and property. I know now for Mississippi, you'll get a winter storm warning. Mississippi and Louisiana, central, what we expected. In North Mississippi, we expected 3 inches, and South Mississippi, like Walthall, Pike, the southern parts of the area into southeast Louisiana, you'll get a winter storm warning at 1 inch. So that's that. So your gumbo pot, the gumbo pot light is supposed to be up there. So your tire pressure light. So when temperatures fall, the tire pressure also drops. Cold waves can cause the air to contract inside your tire, lowering the pressure, thus setting off your TPMS light in your vehicle. Check your tires for inflation or have your dealer check it for you. Regularly check the tire pressure monthly as you're driving through periods of temperature fluctuations. And that absolutely happens here. We can go from 70 to 32 to 20. And, it's just our weather is a little bit crazy. So on the roads, be sure to check your car battery before you get out. Check your batteries. Cold and heat have an effect on the battery. Check your antifreeze. Check your brakes, your tires, make sure your heater's working. Check your oil, your exhaust system, wiper blades, because if we have any ice or any fluid, come on. There we go. So what to carry in your car? You need a full tank of gas. Be sure before the storm comes or before anything happens, have a full tank of gas, okay? Do that a day or two before if you can, because you all know when there's any kind of snow and the day of or the day before, people mass panic buy things, right? Go ahead and if you know that there's a possibility, especially as a home hospice traveling around, be sure to keep your gas on, near the top of, near full, and get it early and often for that. Maintain a first aid kit in your trunk. Make sure you have a cell phone charger, water and snacks, boots, gloves, blankets, and hats. Throw them in the trunk. Have jumper cables or one of those jumper battery packs. They got them now that they're about yay big, and they can charge your phone and charge charge some things. A big battery, and they also have the jumper cable accessory to it. So I have a couple of them for me and my wife in our cars, just to have them, and those can be lifesavers. Kitty litter and sand, we don't necessarily get a whole bunch of ice and things like that, but that's for traction if you got on ice. So that's the reason why people have kitty litter, and so put sand to gain some traction for your cars. Spare batteries, whether it be AA, AAA, some battery packs for your cell phones. If you got your cell phone charger, you'll still use your car battery, but something, spare batteries, anything that might need to be battery powered. For you guys, keeping them as well, even for some of the equipment for your patients, keep some spare batteries if they have universal batteries or things like that. Just have some extra batteries in there just in case one of your patients needs some, or whatever the case may be. Have a toolkit, have some music and games just in case you do get stranded. Have a ice scraper or a shovel. They have like really compact shovels that kind of telescope in. You can have that, and of course a flashlight. So you never know when you encounter a winter weather road emergency or road closure. So have yourself a go bag with blankets, jackets, all the things in here that are listed in your car, and just check it periodically and make sure it's stocked well. So while you're driving in the snow, some mistakes to avoid is not preparing your vehicle. Just go ahead and prepare your vehicle. Slow down. Don't follow people too close. Um, Driving fatigued and being distracted. So when you're driving on snow and ice, you got to be extra vigilant out on the road, because you still got some yahoos driving like there's nothing happening. And I've dealt with it. I moved down from Tennessee, and we had several ice and snow events over the last couple 3 years, and we've seen a lot of people just do stupid things. So really, it's just take your time, allow you some more time to get where you need to go. So driving in snow, plan and give yourself extra time to reach your destination. Follow the speed limits, and I would quite honestly say drive much slower than the speed limit when it's ice and snow. Be extra careful, especially when the conditions require it. Keep a safe distance between you and the vehicle ahead of you, because you cannot slam on your brakes when you got snow and ice. Let the car lose its momentum on its own, and don't panic and slam on the brakes, or otherwise you'll slide. And again, keep your lights on so you can be visible, and vehicle maintenance. So if you're stranded in a winter storm, here's what you need to do. You can run your car for 10 minutes an hour, 10, 15 minutes an hour, um, to warm it up. Make sure you crack your window, let fresh in. Make sure the exhaust is not covered by snow or ice, but keep your car warm, because what you want to do is conserve your gas if you're stranded. So that's why it's important to have a full tank of gas, so you can have, several hours of heat for you. If you're sitting, keep moving. Arms and legs to continue circulation. You can get out your car if it's safe to do so. Maybe walk around. Keep your circulation moving. Do not eat snow. It'll lower your body temperature. And if you're with a car with a whole bunch of other people, and if it's there for a long time, huddle with others to keep body heat. Tie brightly colored cloth on your antenna or hood of car to raise awareness for onlookers or passerbys, or law enforcement will let you know that you're there. Have your entire body wrapped in, including your head, with clothing and blankets. So that's why we want to keep extra layers of clothes, big coats, blankets, things of that nature in your trunk of your car, and stay awake, as you'll be less vulnerable to the cold. So here's a few things that I want you guys to have. Where to find the weather information. Our website is www.weather.gov/jan, JAN. We cover central Mississippi and northeastern Louisiana, and 2 counties in southeastern Arkansas. So that is where we can find your information for most of the state of Mississippi. We also have these forecast points if you guys are going across the state and across Louisiana. Weather.gov/forecast points. If you click on it, it'll give you this nice box down here where your high and lows, temperatures, severe thunderstorm outlooks. It'll let you know if you're going to have snow. It'll let you know all kinds of stuff right there on that. So just take that map and click on it wherever you live, and get your forecast for the next 7 days. And this is especially for the state of Mississippi. Um, this is a statewide graphics page for the state of Mississippi. We don't have one for Louisiana because that would be done by the New Orleans office in Slidell. If you guys want that for Louisiana, get in contact with them. But we have one for the state of Mississippi. So this will show you where we have weather. So this is just taking a couple. A little bit ago, I put it together this morning. We have a marginal risk of severe weather on Friday across the southern part of the state. So if you guys are moving across state lines, moving across the state, if your coordinators have can have a page, this is a good page for them to see where there might be trouble spots. And so it'll have active graphics. It'll also be on our website front page, and then on this other image on the right hand side, that shows you the temperatures and rain chances for the next 3 days for the entire state. If you scroll down on that page, so that is www.weather.gov/jan/statewide graphics. That's I have. That would be my information. There we go. Here's our social media platforms. Follow us on Twitter at NWSJacksonMS and Facebook, NWSJacksonMS. Please follow us. That's where you're going to get a lot of information, a lot of preparedness, a lot of updates. Follow us. My name is Michael Hill, the warning coordination meteorologist at the National Weather Service in Jackson. And that QR code is my business card with my information. So, yeah, I'll stop talking. I appreciate you guys giving me the time to speak with you guys. Hopefully that was some good information, and I'll be quiet. Any questions?
Mr. Hill, that was fantastic. Would you send me your slides so I can include and send out to everybody who's on today's call?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any questions from anybody on the on today's call? That's great information. Great information, especially in terms of perhaps you can people on today's call. You would want to share this with your staff members, especially with regards to vehicle preparation and what to have in your vehicle this winter, just to make sure that everyone is as safe as possible. Thank you, Mr. Hill. I appreciate that. Mr. Roger McConnell, are you still on today's call with us?
I am.
As a someone who's very familiar with North Louisiana's weather, is there anything that you would like to add to what Mr. Hill said with regards to traveling the roads? Most of the folks that are on today's call are either hospice or home health providers. They have staff members that are on the road visiting patients throughout the state. You want to add anything to what you heard, Mr. Hill?
Just a few things. For one, he mentioned having your vehicles prepared and things like that. We try to encourage people, of course, to stay off the roads. For one, it could be some not only ice, but down power lines. If power lines get enough wet precipitation on them and it freezes and they freeze, then they will fall to the ground or break away from the poles. So that's one reason why we want to try to keep people off the roads and off the highways.
Great point.
Another thing is your water systems. I know here in Ouachita Parish, we have actually 33 individual water systems. If we lose power for a significant amount of time, let's just say 4 or 5 days, and some of those water systems do not have generators in order to run their pumps and stuff, that's where our phone starts ringing, wanting to know where they can get generator sources from. And during an icy event or during winter weather, generators are not going to be able to get here because the roads are not going to be passable. So you know, from an emergency manager standpoint, they might want to look ahead if they see weather coming and maybe try to pre-stage or rent some of those some generators to run their pumps. I know that's an expense that you're gambling on, but it's an expense that could also keep the constituents and the residents in water in case water systems go down or in case we're out of power for an extended period of time. I know during 21, the winter weather of 21, we ran into dialysis centers that require a tremendous amount of water. I did not realize that until it was upon us. Some of them were unprepared. We have I guess, a chain of dialysis centers up here for Fresenius, and their network, they were able to pre-stage some water at dialysis centers, close some, and transport people to the larger ones so they could get their treatments. And that was huge. We were kind of freaking out there for a minute, but some of them, they leaned forward a little bit and pre-staged some things to try to alleviate some pressure. Of course, Miss Lisa had mentioned about healthcare workers, our sheriff's office and wildlife and fisheries agents and everything. They were doing the very best they could because, of course, wildlife fishery agents have four-wheel drive vehicles, and sheriff's deputies have vehicles that can move around in this type of stuff. They were leaned on heavily to transport healthcare workers. And like she said, some of them just spent the night at work, as did some of us up here. But that was a tremendous help for us with the public service to move those doctors and nurses and healthcare workers around during that event. So, but other than that, that's everything's pretty much been hit on. Just had a few things that I hadn't heard yet.
Thank you for your comments, and thank you for being on today's call with us. Does anyone have any questions of Mr. McConnell or Mr. Hill? Just a few more things I would like to remind people of that I was also thinking of while we were talking. One is to encourage your staff and your patients to subscribe with their cell phones to their local county emergency alert text. I know we've talked about this throughout the hurricane season, but a lot of folks have cell phones, smartphones, and your patients may not know how to sign up for those parish or those county alert systems. Please take the initiative and help them set that up. You may have volunteers, especially if you have high school students who volunteer with your agencies, or younger folks that are volunteering with your agency that are very savvy in cyber communications. Help them set up their cell phones, their smartphones, to receive those sorts of alerts if they're not already connected to their county or their parish alert system. Staff members should all subscribe and connect with their parish and their county alert systems within their 50-mile radiuses. All of the hospices and home health in Louisiana and Mississippi service a 50-mile to 75-mile radius. I want to remind everybody not to just get your counties, but the counties and the parishes that your service area include. You know, I for instance, I have several alert systems that I get all the way from the Mississippi Gulf Coast. You don't have to be a resident of the county to actually sign up for that county or that parish's alert system. So it would be, I advise you to have your staff sign up for all of the counties and parishes that you serve. Another thing that I was thinking of is with regards to your patients, when your staff is going into patients' homes, are they making sure that your patients have adequate heating and shelter? Are their water and their pipes protected? Are there fire hazards possibly present in the patient's home? You know, a lot of folks have working fireplaces. there was an incident recently where some folks that I know personally had a carbon monoxide leak. It got cold. Their pump was on, and it was releasing carbon monoxide. They didn't know anything about it. They didn't have a carbon monoxide monitor in their apartment. Um, but um, uh, Luckily, um, they smelt burning plastic for some reason. They called the fire department. The fire department came, and couldn't find a source of the fire, but they had carbon monoxide monitors where the scores were very lethal, and they were very lucky that it didn't progress into a lethal situation. It's time to check batteries. Make sure that their fire alarms and their carbon monoxide monitors, the batteries are working. Uh, that your patients have proper food and nutrition available to them. That they have pet care, and if their safety concerns about their pets are being addressed. Uh, Make sure your social workers can make sure that their utilities are current, that their payments are current, gas, electricity, water, phone, cable, that they're not having financial problems, making sure that the utilities are on. And finally, even during hurricane season, during the winter season, we lose power, just like in hurricane season. Generator safety and proper use. Make sure that your patients, if they have generators, that they know how to use them, that they're properly using them, that they're properly ventilated, and that they have those carbon monoxide monitors available to them. These are just some of the other thoughts that I had around hazards during the winter. Are there any questions for any of our guests? Mr. Williams with the Mississippi Department of Health, are you on today? Or Teresa Jones? Or Dominic Matoya? Anyone have any questions? You have to unmute yourself to ask a question, or put it in the chat box. Well, I want to thank all of our guests today, especially Mr. McConnell, Lisa at Sanctuary Hospice, Dominic, Ms. Jones, Mr. Williams, Mr. Hill. Thank you all again for helping us think about some of the hazards that we will face this winter, that we may face this winter, and anticipate them. I'm going to take Mr. Hill's presentation and the slides that I have here, and I will put them in next Wednesday's calendar invite so that you can download them and use them with your staff as an in-service, getting them to think about these things as well. If there are no other questions, we will meet again next Wednesday, December 6th at 1 p.m. If you have any questions between now and then, you can always reach me at jboudreau@lmhpco.org, or you can reach me by phone at 504-491-6133. I want to thank you all for your time and your attention. We have just a few comments. Oh, thank you. I'm glad everyone's enjoying the presentation. There, seeing no questions, we'll go ahead and we will end today's call, and you will end with 15 minutes more for your workday. Thanks, everyone. Take care and be careful, and make sure you're up to date on all your vaccines. Take care. Bye-bye.